How important is research to the car consumer?
Research is incredibly important to car consumers, and we're seeing them do more and more research before they ever even go into the dealership, particularly women who say, I need to know everything there is to know about the types of vehicles that I want to buy and what I'm expecting in a vehicle. And it's really more important than ever that consumers research about the vehicles because there's new technology. I put my sister, who has a 10-year-old Volvo, I put her in one of my media cars and she had never seen a heads-up display. Things that, you don't, like, as people that drive new cars all the time, we don't think about. But she was like, what is that? I was like, oh, that's a heads-up display. So, it's important that they understand when they go into the dealerships what they're going to see. You'll feel overwhelmed otherwise if you haven't done your research.
And it's good that they are smart about things, isn't it? I mean, it makes a better consumer and a better deal.
It does. It makes a better consumer. It makes somebody who isn't going to feel like, you know what, this is too much for me, I'm just going to leave. It gives them a sense of confidence that they can go in and say, okay, this is, these different technologies that I'm going to be facing, these different types of vehicles that I'm going to be looking at. So, and also just the price points, you get an idea of what you should be paying, what you can expect to pay when you're looking at these new features.
Rebecca, one of the really fun things about talking to you is that you have a hot list.
Yes.
What is on your hot list?
There's a combination of brands that we have on our hot list. The first one that we put on in alphabetical order was Audi. And one of the reasons that we put Audi on there is because they have a really good mix of SUVs, crossovers, and sedans. And their product lineup is incredibly fresh. We also have Subaru on there. Subaru is a brand that has just perfected the marketing campaign. They perfected the use of puppies to sell a very practical vehicle like a Subaru. Everything has all-wheel drive. We have Jeep on there. Jeep is an incredibly flexible brand. It has no specific type of buyer. You see college students that want a Jeep, and you see very wealthy people that want a Jeep. And the Wrangler is new for this year, which is incredibly important for this brand. We also put Volvo on there. Volvo has a very fresh product lineup. They have beautiful SUVs in particular. They have a great message of safety, and we're really seeing very high levels of consideration. So when people do their research, a lot of people are studying and researching the Volvo brand. And then Honda. Honda's put out their new Accord, so a mid-size sedan. Even though sedans are not selling as well as they used to, that Accord is award-winning. Kelley Blue Book Best Buys. We've done a lot of evaluations, done a lot of research on that vehicle, and it's just an overall great car to drive.
Let me ask you about one of the car companies that are iconic, but seem to be having some difficulty, and that's Cadillac. What can Cadillac do to turn things around?
Cadillac has good product. They are introducing their XT4, which is a small crossover, luxury crossover, which they desperately need. For my purposes, I want Cadillac to have different marketing. They have a lot of wet cobblestones, a la Greenwich Village in New York City. Let me tell you right now, having lived outside the city for almost my whole life, nobody drives in New York City. I want them to have an emotional campaign, but that relates to more real world practical uses of these beautiful vehicles they've come out with.
And every time I talk to you, I ask you about the Millennials because everyone wants to know about the Millennials. Should we be concerned about the Millennials?
Well, I think it's important, first of all, to differentiate and to understand that not all Millennials are created equal. The older Millennials, those between 30 and 40 years old, actually had their post-college experience very much disrupted by the recession. And so they've had a different experience than the younger millennials who are in their 20s, who have kind of had to work through the recession and look at it and say, everything's not going to be perfect. The older millennials are much more premium oriented. They expect to have a premium experience, and that's how they were raised. They can't help it. It's not their fault. But I don't think we can lump all the millennials together.